In today's video, we're going to be checking out Malaysia Airlines' short-haul business class on a quick flight from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. We'll look at the seats, the service, the business class lounge, and also cover what went wrong with Malaysia Airlines, apart from the obvious, and why I think their future is a bit brighter than their past.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I'd just gotten off an 11-hour overnight flight from Auckland and had a 3-hour layover before the quick hop over to Singapore. This gave me plenty of time to check out Malaysia's lounges in Kuala Lumpur. They actually have 2 business class lounges here. There's the main big one, which is in the satellite terminal, and then they have a second one in the main terminal building. I was in the satellite terminal, so I decided to check this one out first. Let's see what this is all about.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. This lounge is humongous and is mainly all laid out in this large rectangular space with one side being entirely windows looking out onto the tarmac. It has really, really nice views and the whole place just had a very nice, relaxed sort of tone about it. There's a huge variety of different foods available at the buffets. I was there in the morning, so they had both Asian style and Western style breakfasts available. I only really just had some fruit as I'd already had a pretty extensive breakfast on the flight I'd just gotten off. They also had all the drinks you could ever want, including my favorite, no sugar Coke. Is it too early for Coke? Just as I was leaving, I discovered the nap rooms towards the back of the lounge. I wish I'd found these earlier. Overall, this is a top tier lounge and my filming really did not do it justice. I think I have to go to the other terminal, because my gate's H or something. And this is all the satellite terminal one. The train not working. I don't know what's going on, but gotta catch a bus. After getting off the bus at the main terminal, I had about 15 minutes until boarding would begin. My gate was right next to the lounge, so I just had to poke my head in for 5 minutes. Probably only have like 5 minutes, right?
5 to 10 minutes.
5, 10? Okay. Yeah. No worries, just need a drink.
Alright.
Thank you. Pasta, vegetables. That'd be good. Yummy, right? Pania, oh yeah.
Yes, sir, can I help you?
What is this? What is this drink?
Isotonic drink.
Okay.
They will make you like energy.
Oh, energy. Okay.
No
All right,
sugar.
electrolyte. Yeah. Okay. I'll try it. Thanks for that. All right, so this lounge definitely isn't as big as the other one, but it's still pretty nice. They got good food. Dude, Malaysia Airlines has killer lounges and killer service. I got some fruit and this weird drink. It's got good views and everything. I think that might be my plane there, one of those two. Yeah, all round impressed. I gotta eat this and then I gotta get to my gate. So, it's sweet. It's got some sugar. It's only got 4 grams. I mean, it's alright. I really want to see my bag go on that because I have no idea where it is. Also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 baggage handlers, plus the guy in there. 10? The Malaysian 737 business class cabin is laid out in this 2-2 configuration. There's 4 rows of seats for a total of 16 business class seats. This is a ton. For reference, Qantas and Singapore both do 12 seats in their business class cabin, and on this particular flight there was only 3 of us in business class, so it's just a pretty massive waste of space. I believe with their refurbished 737s they're only doing 12 seats, so they're heading in the right direction, but why? What happened here? So they're always saying enjoy the Malaysian hospitality. I think they're actually right. The flight attendants on this flight were pretty wonderful. They brought around moist towels before takeoff as well as drinks. Non-alcoholic, but it was like 11:30 in the morning, so like, come on. I mean, there was only 3 people in business class, so I guess for the flight attendants it was a pretty easy job, but still they kept their high standards and I was again impressed with the Malaysian Airlines service. is very much like an 80s vibe seat, but look how much storage there is. Storage for days. In full recline mode, it's pretty good. Pretty comfy. I just found this kind of nutty. As I said earlier, this was a 49-minute flight. We take off out of Kuala Lumpur out to the north and then turn around to head towards Singapore. And we climb. We climb up to 27,000 feet and hit 27,000 feet at 4:06 Greenwich time. And then we cruise at 27,000 feet for 7 minutes before starting our descent into Singapore. So the chicken portion's pretty small, and the roti's like only this big. But it all tastes really, really good. And again, this is like a 45-minute flight, and they're serving hot food. LATAM had a 2.5-hour flight, and they fed me a packet of chips. Oh, actually, it was a warm muffin. This is crazy. This is really nice. Malaysian hospitality is true. So we also get some nuts and a little bit of chocolate. It's really, really good. The seats are like from Home Alone.
Fasten your seatbelts, please.
Champagne, please. Yes. It's free, isn't it?
Hope we didn't forget anything.
And that's generally the vibe of all the Malaysia Airlines aircraft, but the service is really, really top-notch, actually. Just giving more nuts. I'll take some nuts, I guess. Toilet time. It's a small lavatory. A hand soap. And then body lotion. I got that Malaysian Airways scent going on. Oof. You know how I said it had a retro vibe? 80s, very 80s. Ashtray. In hindsight, this is really weird because this plane was delivered in 2011 and Malaysia banned smoking on planes domestically in 1996. So why 15 years after the ban are they still putting personal ashtrays on seats? Are these seats like out of the back shed or something? As we descend into Singapore, let's just quickly look at the history of Malaysia Airlines and how they've ended up where they are today. So for those who are unaware, which was me like a couple of months ago, Malaysia Airlines and Singapore Airlines were actually the same company up until the early 70s. I won't go too deep into the history because honestly I'm not that well versed on it, but back prior to 1963, the whole Malay Peninsula, including the island of Singapore, was ruled by the British. This colony had an airline called Malayan Airways Limited that served routes throughout the whole Malay Peninsula, Singapore, and the surrounding region. After the formation of Malaysia in 1963, Malayan Airways became Malaysian Airways, and then a couple years later, when Singapore separated from Malaysia, the airline became Malaysia Singapore Airlines, or MSA. MSA played a significant role in promoting both Singapore and Malaysia internationally, leveraging on the unity and combined resources of both territories. However, differences in expansion strategies soon arose between the two governments. Malaysia wanted to focus on domestic and regional expansion, while Singapore was keen on international routes. This led to a split in 1972, with MSA being divided into two entities, Malaysian Airlines System, now known as Malaysia Airlines, and Singapore Airlines. As we all know, Singapore Airlines established itself as a global aviation leader, known for premium service and a focus on a humongous international network of routes. Malaysia Airlines was a little bit slower to expand, first focusing on their domestic network and regional networks before expanding internationally. The airline became a national symbol for Malaysia, so much so that a Boeing 777 in Malaysian colours was printed on the 10 ringgit note. From the mid-80s up until the mid-90s, the airline massively expanded. They started operating everywhere. They had flights to the US, to Europe. They were also the only Southeast Asian airline to fly to South America. But this rapid expansion turned into over-expansion. Malaysia Airlines had a vast array of unprofitable routes, and by the late 1990s, when the Asian financial crisis hit, Malaysia started to have huge losses that continued through till the early 2000s. There was a new CEO and a turnaround plan in 2006 that temporarily led to profits, but between 2002 and 2012, Malaysia Airlines cumulatively lost over 1.3 billion ringgit. During this turnaround period, they also happened to be direct neighbours with AirAsia as it grew from a small startup low-cost carrier into what is now Malaysia's largest airline by many metrics. Unlike Singapore Airlines and Qantas, who when faced by low-cost competitors. Both competed hard, creating their own budget brands. Malaysia Airlines did start their own budget brand, but did so too late and did not compete hard enough. Internal politics likely played a big role in this as well. In 2014, within a time span of 5 months, the dual tragedies of MH370 and MH17 occurred. Bookings dropped by over 30% in the following months despite huge price cuts by the airline in an attempt to fill seats. The airline was nationalised in August of 2014 and declared technically bankrupt in the beginning of 2015. But to complicate things further, they then had 3 CEOs in 3 years, with the third being Isham Ismail, who is still CEO to this day. Under his leadership, the airline is slowly working towards modernising the fleet with A330neos, A350s and 737 Maxes. And while I don't think they'll be returning to their glory days of the early 90s, flying to destinations like South America, with a modern fleet, they could be a good, profitable, premium airline for Malaysia. Through all of the CEOs, tragedies and hardships, the service is still world-class, and I really want to see them do well in the future. I hope you all enjoyed that video. Check out flightformula.com if you're into Qantas frequent flyer points. I've got some tools there. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.